Alright y'all, it's been a minute, but for this one, I had to do a review. Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. Now, this movie had a lot that it had to do. It had to pick up where Man of Steel left off, show us the aftermath and the effects of Zod and Superman's fight in Metropolis, introduce us to a brand new Batman, show us the first time ever on the big screen Wonder Woman, give us a fight that we've been waiting 3 years to see, not to mention build and set up the DCU.
Good luck.
Now, in regards to everything that I just listed, Batman v Superman executed that famously. In this film, we get to see the destruction, devastation that Superman and Zod caused to Metropolis from Bruce's perspective. We also get to see how the world and the government feel about Superman being on Earth. Not to mention, we get the darkest, most brooding Batman that we've ever seen, paying homage to Frank Miller's Batman from The Dark Knight Returns. Now you know I didn't forget about Wonder Woman. Fans of the comics are also going to enjoy Easter eggs as well as full scenes that will expand on the DCU and show us what might be coming next. And yeah, Zack does a good job giving us the fight that we're looking for. Not to mention a Bruce Wayne training montage that will make Rocky cream in his pants.
Think he's telling the truth? Disgusting.
Now you're not going to find many people that say they don't enjoy watching a Zack Snyder movie. He makes moving art. However, most people will also say that his characters and his stories are not maybe as fully developed as they should be. However, I think in this movie, they are on point.
Nobody cares what you think.
The issues that Batman and Superman have with each other that cause them to beef in the first place, I think are fleshed out pretty well. Now sometimes, big spectacle movies like this can have side stories or plots that might seem a bit random and out of place, especially if they don't directly affect, develop, or move the story along. But because of the writers, Chris Terrio, David Goyer, and the direction of Zack Snyder, everything that you see has meaning and significance to either the plot or the character's development or backstories. And I'm gonna give a special big ups to the writers. There's two things that happen that I didn't see coming. And when you see it, I can see a couple people going, damn! But at the same time, when I'm watching it, I was like, dang, I like where they took it, and I'm glad they had the balls to go there. Now remember, I mentioned earlier that we're getting a darker, more brooding, tortured Batman. Now we can see in this that Batman has an established history. We know that he had a Robin and someone murked his ass. Now, while the details of Robin's death are unclear in this movie, my speculation is that they're going to go into it more in a standalone Batman movie. But with that said, it's obvious that Bruce is still broken up over the whole situation, and when all this Superman stuff jumps off, it causes our boy to jump off too.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
Now, personally, I really enjoyed Ben Affleck as Batman and Bruce Wayne. I'm not going to get caught up trying to compare all the Batmans, but I will say that aside from George Clooney, there is something that I like about all of them. But there are an obvious top three. We get to see this Batman kick ass like never before, and it's legit. And the emotion and physicality that Ben Affleck was able to bring to the role is why I think he did so fantastic. Now I remember there was a lot of fans crying about Superman being too dark and too emotional in Man of Steel.
Hold on to your butts.
Y'all gonna be pissed, cause he ain't playing in this one. We are finally seeing a Superman looking like a Superman and doing super shit. Side note, for those of you who are so upset about how gloomy Superman seems, keep in mind that his parents blew up on Krypton along with all his people. He let his dad die in F5. He saves the planet and gets sued for the damages. People only want to hang out with him when they need something.
Well, some people have hope.
And his mom is aged horribly. Yikes. Now, a lot of y'all were hating on Gal Gadot's casting as Wonder Woman.
Man, this is so some bullshit!
But she ain't playing either. I thought she did a pretty good job. I mean, let's be real. She's not a big focal point of the movie, but when Wonder Woman is doing her Wonder Woman thing, she holds up well, and you actually buy into it. She has a swag and intensity about herself when she's on screen, and I really enjoyed that. Not to mention, she took getting ready for the role very serious, which I respect. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Gal's gonna bring to the Wonder Woman standalone. Now, one character I wasn't really feeling was Lex Luthor. Not because I ain't feeling Lex Luthor, but I just wasn't the biggest fan of the way Jesse Eisenberg played him. Now, hear me on this.
Do you hear me?
I understand the way that the writers wrote Lex, but it's just the way that Jesse Eisenberg plays him reminded me of somewhat of a toned down Riddler from Batman Forever. And we know what a debacle that was.
Oh, come on!
Now I will say like this, Jesse Eisenberg's a great actor. Even though he gives us a somewhat toned down Riddler type performance, you still can see behind his eyes a twisted evil, greed, and hunger for power. The only thing is, I would have rather had it throughout the movie versus just in the end. I've seen a couple comic book movies in the past where the villains we were getting were supposed to be super menacing and they ended up being even toned or comical.
I don't think so. Homie, don't play that.
If you tell me I'm gonna get someone menacing, you gotta give me someone menacing. I want my villains ruthless.
Why you gotta be so ruthless, cuz?
And of course, like all movies, there's gonna be a big fight at the end. And when it gets here, it looks great, it's dope, there's a real threat, real stakes involved, which is always awesome. And yeah, I know we're only 2 movies in, but I'm just gonna say I'm real happy that they have yet to resort to a cheap way out like mind control, or if you kill this and you blow up that, then it all comes tumbling down. Now, for those of you that know me out there, I keep it 100.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
I wanted to love this movie. I wanted to clap my hands and stomp my feet. But I didn't love this movie upon first viewing. I liked it a lot, but I didn't love it. When I watched the Nolan Batmans, the Tim Burton Batmans, and Man of Steel, there's no doubt in my mind that I loved those movies as soon as the credits start rolling. A certain type of feeling that I got, and I didn't get it when I saw this. Now, going into this, my expectations were super high. So the more that I digest and think about what was going on in the movie, I actually start to like it more and more than when I first left the screening. Oh, and when I say screening, I mean an actual screening. My boy Paul called your boy up, told me he had an extra ticket for me. We got to go see an IMAX special screening at the Tech Museum on Monday. In your face!
It hurts, don't it? It hurts. Burns, doesn't it, nigga?
But off the top, there was really only 2 major things, aside from, little nitpicky things that kind of made me not love the movie. One major thing was the way that they set up the Justice League. It felt kind of shoehorned into the movie, almost very reminiscent of what they did in Amazing Spider-Man 2, trying to set up the Sinister Six. And frankly, I wanted more Batman v Superman. Batman vs Superman. Give it to me. If you really think about it, if you have Wonder Woman in your movie, those are 3 members of the Justice League. If it's Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, it takes 3 to be official. Come on, man. Alright, y'all. So I'm finna throw out my old school rating system. I'm just gonna tell you how I feel. I hella like this movie. I had a great time in the theater watching it. I think all of you should go out and see it in a theater. But go in with the understanding that this is a world-building movie. They're throwing a lot of things at you. It's not just A, B, and C. And if you go in with that understanding, you're going to be able to manage your expectations. And like me, you're probably going to come out really liking the movie.
The end.
I'm out. Holla.